You are listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern vitality. If you are seeking to reconnect with your innate vibrancy, you're in the right place. I'm Emily Davis, a seasoned holistic esthetician and herbalist. Join me as we unlock the secrets of ancient skincare practices, explore the beauty of seasonal and nature-based living, herbalism, and true holistic well-being for you and the broader ecosystem. This podcast is brought to you by Stratum Aesthetics. Head to stratumaesthetics.com to find curated skincare, body care, and other wellness products hand-selected by me. Now enjoy the show. Please remember that the information I share in this podcast is based on my personal and professional experience and is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not individualized skincare advice, nor is it medical advice. I encourage you to take charge of your own health decisions and listen to your body, seeking out the resources and professionals that best support your wellness journey. Welcome in. Today, we're chatting about one of the most foundational pieces to the intricate puzzle that is your skin health, and that's circadian health. And I want to talk about this because it really gets into something that I've been talking about for a really long time. I have believed this since the early 2000s, which is that we have gotten it so terribly wrong about the sun. My conversation today will get into that and maybe give you some insight into why I believe that. But we're also going to get into so much more than that, because in addition to the negative effects of constantly, chronically shielding ourselves from the sun, we also see negative side effects for our skin from, and I know you hate to hear this, but artificial light in the evening. Our skin is so highly affected by our circadian rhythm and our circadian clock, even though it's not really something that gets talked about in the skin arena yet. And I started getting really interested in circadian health a couple of years ago after following an account on Instagram, Carrie B Wellness. And for New Year's of, I think it was 2024, my resolution was to focus on and change my behavior and lifestyle to honor my circadian rhythm. And so I started very slowly and just started integrating little parts at a time. And I started reading all of the books about it and taking courses. And it's something I consider to be foundational. And this is why it's the first pillar that we get into in Reclaim Your Radiance, which is my program that talks about the foundational lifestyle pillars of skin health, because I do not believe that skincare starts with a bottle. So I created this program, I guess, just to help people look at these foundations. It is coming back June 1st, and this program is the thing that I wish everyone who wants to have truly healthy skin for the long haul would take, because we go through things like circadian rhythms, eating with coherence and mindfulness, the importance of movement and sleep and emotional balance, all of the things, and how each of these affects your skin while giving you actionable activities to support your skin through all of these. And of course, I weave my herbalism lens into all of this as well. It's a great program for both estheticians and consumers alike. So if you're interested, you can sign up for the waiting list, which I will link in the bio, and it will be available for purchase again on June 1st. And before we get into the show today, this episode is brought to you by my company, Stratum Aesthetics, which is curated skincare, body care, wellness products. And today I want to highlight the free herbal gel cleanser and makeup remover from Blissoma. This is one of my top sellers. And if you're somebody who's been using one of those basic fragrance-free dermatologist recommended drugstore cleansers because you thought it was the safe choice for sensitive skin or the most benign option, this product is the upgrade that your skin has been waiting for. Free is incredibly gentle, but it's also filled with herbal nourishment that soothes and strengthens the skin barrier. Unlike that basic store brand, I will not name, which actually both has nothing beneficial for your skin and is barrier disruptive, this is the antidote to that. It doesn't just avoid irritating ingredients, it actively supports your skin while removing makeup without stripping. It has yerba mate, plantain, self-heal, linden, my sweet little linden, raspberry leaf, all herbs selected for their ability to calm inflammation, support wound healing, and provide antioxidant protection. Yerba mate is rich in polyphenols that neutralize free radicals and reduce oxidative stress, while plantain and self-heal and linden actually are all known for their mucilaginous and antimicrobial properties, helping to both soothe irritation and support your skin's microbiome. And then raspberry leaf offers a very gentle, astringent, as well as anti-inflammatory effect, making this formulation especially beneficial for reactive, inflamed, acne-prone skin. It is appropriate for all skin types, but it's definitely the one that I reach for when somebody has acne-prone skin. You can find it on my website, and I'll also tag it in the show notes. So with that, let's get back to today's topic. Let's start with talking about what the circadian rhythm is, which is that it's your body's 24-hour clock. All living beings have this internal clock, and it's just this interesting part of our intelligent design that exists to help your body anticipate what it needs prior to actually needing it. So this system affects every single function in your body. It's not just about getting better sleep. It's the foundation for every single system, from your skin to your hormones, your metabolism, your ability to naturally detoxify, your digestion, your mood regulation. It's all starting with this internal clock. And major health organizations like the World Health Organization have recognized circadian disruption, so disruption to this clock, as a probable carcinogen, especially in night shift workers. It's one of the most under-discussed threads in the bigger conversation about modern health. But it impacts everything from your inflammation to your immune response and how well your body can heal and protect itself. So we have a master clock that's in our brain, and then we have little mini clocks in almost every other cell in our body, including our skin cells. And because our skin, it's on the outside of our body, it's the one that's exposed to light, it acts as a major light sensing organ. We are designed this way. And that means that it's deeply influenced by circadian rhythms, just like our eyes are as well. And so this impacts everything in our skin, from our barrier function, our skin's hydration, its ability to repair from a wound like a breakout, or heal a rash like eczema or perioral dermatitis. So if you have any type of a skin issue happening, I highly recommend you take a look at your circadian health. If the master clock, the one that's in our brain, and all of those little mini clocks are in sync, everything runs smoothly. Our skin cells divide and repair and slough off at night while we're sleeping. Our oil production peaks in the early afternoon. This is what we want. And our antioxidant defenses kick in during the day when UV exposure is highest. But when the mini clocks get out of sync with the master clock, so say you're eating at midnight or staring at blue light at 2 a.m. or sleeping until 10 a.m., it causes kind of like a jet lag inside of your body. And the result is poor cellular repair, inflammation, and skin that can't really keep up with what's going on. And I mentioned eating in the middle of the night because your circadian clock isn't only influenced by light hitting the skin, it also takes cues from when you eat, how you move, shifts in temperature and hormone cycles. So your circadian rhythm is your body's 24-hour clock, but it also interacts with your infradian rhythms, which are longer cycles like the seasons. So just as your body adapts to day, like the light and the dark throughout the day, it's also adjusting seasonally to changes in light and temperature and food availability, your like body's activity, how you're moving, which is crazy, right? It's tying together with living appropriately according to the seasons. So in the summer, we have longer daylight hours that are going to signal more cortisol and serotonin production. Cortisol, I've said this many times before, but cortisol like gets kind of demonized, but we need cortisol. We can't get out of bed without cortisol. So it's good that during the summer with these daylight hours, we're producing more cortisol. Your body may feel more energized. You need less sleep. You may crave lighter, hydrating foods. And then on the flip side, in the winter, we have shorter days, which naturally cue more melatonin production, which encourages rest and that deeper sleep. And your body maybe prefers warming, grounding foods and like a slower pace of life. So when you're living in alignment with both your daily and seasonal rhythms by waking with the sun, eating in-season foods, you're syncing with the design that your body evolved to follow, this beautiful, divine, intelligent design. And living this way reduces internal stress, which we know has a huge impact on our skin. And it's going to support things like reduced inflammation. When we see reduced inflammation in the skin, that means we're going to have less breakouts. We're going to be less prone to rashes like eczema or around the mouth dermatitis, that perioral dermatitis, the periocular dermatitis, which is where you get it around your eyes, even things like hyperpigmentation. It's also going to improve hydration and more efficient overnight skin repair, which means more healthy and more vibrant aging. So who knew it was more than just getting that trendy serum on your skin? Let's go ahead and get into the specifics about how living harmoniously with natural light, or I suppose not doing so, affects our skin. So the first thing I want to talk about is our skin cell turnover and repair. So skin cell turnover is a hot topic. It's something that people have been using to push exfoliants for since I've been an esthetician. Like, you have to use glycolic acid as a toner a couple of times a week, or a cleanser with lactic acid, or get your chem peel or your dermaplane once a month so that you have healthy skin cell turnover, because this is going to prevent aging. Well, some of our most important work on our skin is done while we're sleeping. I feel like this is pretty often talked about. You get your beauty sleep. So between like 10 and 2 a.m., your skin is entering peak repair mode. And during this window, cell division and renewal accelerate, which means your skin is clearing out old damaged cells and replacing them with new healthy ones. And it turns over the old cells. It sloughs off the old cells. And you don't even need an exfoliant. That just naturally happens, whether you've never exfoliated in your life or not. But this process is regulated by your circadian rhythm. So when you're in sync, you're asleep during those hours and not flooded with stress hormones or blue light, your skin can do this job efficiently. But if you're staying up late past 10 o'clock, if you're scrolling or getting fragmented sleep, this process can get disrupted. So those signals get all scrambled up and the repair process slows down. So this means your skin might retain more dead skin cells than it should, which will make it appear dull or rough in texture. It may be more prone to clogged pores or breakouts. It may heal slower after those breakouts or any type of inflammation or irritation. But the next thing that our circadian rhythm affects with our skin is our skin's barrier. And the barrier is the outermost layer that acts like a shield. And the barrier actually changes in strength throughout the day. Your barrier isn't the same from 1 hour to the next. In the morning, it starts to gradually strengthen to prepare for exposure during the day. And then by midday, when UV radiation are at their highest, your barrier is at its most protective. And then at nighttime, it softens and becomes maybe more permeable, allowing for deeper cellular repair and communication. But if your rhythm is off, your barrier can weaken at the wrong times, making your skin more vulnerable to the sun or to dehydration. So basically, if you're spending your evening under harsh artificial lighting, or you don't see any natural light during the day at all, if your days are dark and your nights are bright, your body gets confused. It basically gets stuck in day mode, which means you're going to have impaired lipid production, so drier skin, weaker barrier repair, which means more reactivity and inflammation, and then disrupted cellular cleanup at nighttime, which is going to look like a buildup of dead cells and slower healing like we talked about before. So the third impact that circadian rhythms have on your skin is microbiome balance. So your skin's microbiome is trillions of bacteria and fungi and other organisms that live on the surface of your skin, and it's active and responsive to your circadian rhythm. So throughout the day and night, your skin is going to experience natural shifts in temperature and oil production and hydration levels, as well as the pH. And the microbiome adapts to all of these changes. So in the morning and daytime, your skin is more acidic and oil production ramps up. And we have certain microbes that thrive in a slightly acidic, oil-rich environment. And so they become more dominant during this time. They offer protection from environmental stressors at this time. And then at nighttime, our skin becomes more permeable, oil levels drop, and hydration levels shift. So microbes that support the barrier repair and inflammation regulation become more active at this time, helping to calm and restore the skin. So if this is disrupted or off, we may see reduced microbial diversity, maybe overgrowth of certain microbes at the wrong time, which can weaken our skin's resilience. And this can contribute to barrier disruption because many beneficial bacteria help to regulate oil production and our acid mantle balance. And because our microbiome is so closely tied to our immune signaling in our skin, a disrupted circadian rhythm can also increase your skin's reactivity and sensitivity, even to products that maybe would have otherwise worked well for your skin. The fourth thing that circadian rhythms affect with our skin is our wound healing. So our skin's ability to heal after a breakout or a scratch or a rash is all actually timed by your circadian rhythm. So wounds inflicted during the day actually heal faster than those that happen at night. And this is because of our skin's immune cells and blood flow and repair enzymes are more active and responsive during daylight hours. So during the day, your skin is in protection and response mode. So during the day, blood flow is higher and it's going to bring oxygen and nutrients to the site of injury. And then at nighttime, the skin shifts into regeneration mode, but it's slower when it comes to that like immediate wound response. So the focus at nighttime is more on long-term repair, not immediate defense. So when the circadian rhythm is out of sync, that's going to mean slower healing from breakouts or even things like microneedling and dermaplaning. More post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation is going to take place because the skin stays inflamed for longer. And then we have an increased risk of scarring, especially if your body isn't clearing and rebuilding efficiently. And then we can also see prolonged redness and irritation and sensitivity within the skin. And then the final thing that I want to talk about as far as how circadian rhythms affect your skin specifically is the antioxidant defense. So your skin actually has built-in antioxidant defense systems. So things like glutathione and superoxide dismutase that work behind the scenes, and they're neutralizing free radicals and protecting against oxidative stress, so things like pollution or even emotional stress. These defenses are actually timed by your circadian rhythm. So during the day when your skin is exposed to the outside world like the sun, these antioxidant systems naturally ramp up because your body knows that you're more likely to encounter UV or smog or environmental toxins. And so it activates its defense team to protect your DNA and your collagen. And then at nighttime, those defenses power down and your skin switches into that repair mode. So it's clearing the damage and regenerating skin cells. But if your circadian rhythm is disrupted, this on-off system for the antioxidant defense starts to malfunction. And so antioxidant activity may not peak at the right time, which leaves your skin more vulnerable to things like the sun. Free radicals build up, which damage collagen and elastin. You can see accelerated signs of aging and more inflammation, which can trigger breakouts or worsen conditions like melasma or rosacea. So even if you're using a vitamin C serum or a moisturizer with green tea extract, if your body is not producing its own antioxidant defenses at the right time, you're just kind of fighting uphill. So now that we've gone through how circadian rhythms affect things like your barrier function and skin cell turnover and wound healing, you might be wondering what actually throws off the rhythm in the first place. And one of the biggest culprits is something that we're all exposed to constantly these days, which is artificial blue light. Not just from the sun. We do get blue light from the sun, and that doesn't mean that all blue light is bad, but we get filtered blue light at the wrong time from our phones, TV, computers, even overhead lighting, just like traditional light bulbs in our homes. And I guess it kind of seems harmless because we're not seeing like an immediate result, although I would argue that you kind of do see an immediate result, especially with your mood. And I've found this because I've made so many changes to my lifestyle, and when I fall off of it, I definitely can feel it. So if you're up late at night scrolling or sitting under artificial lighting all evening, your skin is actually being pushed out of its natural rhythm, and it may struggle with the things that we've mentioned already. And I know that we've all been taught the sun is dangerous, but I will be honest, my perspective is quite different. And I'm not saying sunburns are good. Sunburns are a clear message from the body that you're overdoing it. And it's not that the sun is bad, it's just that your skin wasn't prepared appropriately for the amount of exposure it got. It didn't know how to react to the sun at that time of day or at that time of year. And I do have to wonder if a lot of the issues that we blame on the sun, like pigmentation and certain forms of aging, have to do more with how disconnected we've become from natural light rhythms. I mean, we live in this upside down world where we're constantly under artificial light. And I just don't think that our skin or our biology was designed for that. So it's easy to talk about all of this theory, but actually living in sync with your body's natural rhythm can feel, and I know from firsthand experience, it can feel super hard in the modern world. It is a whole lifestyle change, and that's because circadian misalignment isn't just like a personal issue. It's really built into our culture, from the tech that we use to screens and artificial lighting, late night stimulation. We're just surrounded by cues that push us out of rhythm. We live in a world that runs 24 hours a day, but we are not designed to do that. Our biology is wired for sunrise and sunset and movement and then rest. It's just so crazy to me. Like, I want to move to the country so I don't have to see my neighbors' light pollution. It drives me insane that people keep their outdoor lights on all night long, which I understand that it's for safety, but wildlife and plants also live by circadian clocks. But we do live in this world, and I'm not a big fan of just like thinking I'm a victim to circumstance. And I think this is something you could get neurotic about, and that's not helpful. That's causing unnecessary inflammation. So like I said at the top of the episode, making small, sustainable changes here and there, which is why I love the book Atomic Habits. He talks about just getting incrementally better all the time, like 1% better every day. So a couple of things that you can do, some shifts that you can make to support your circadian rhythm, include going outside first thing in the morning, even for 5 minutes without sunglasses. Sometimes I will just open my window, especially because I live in Colorado and it's cold in the winter and I'm not going to go stand out in the snow every morning, but I'll just open my window and sit by the window to get that morning sunlight in my eyes and on my skin. You have to open the window because windows actually filter the light, and so we're not getting the appropriate ratio of the light spectrum that the sun is giving off. Avoiding bright overhead lights after sunset, so using candles or amber light bulbs. Keeping consistent wake up and sleep times. So waking up at the same time every day, even on the weekends, and then going to bed at the same time every day, even on the weekends. My 25-year-old self is scoffing at me about that one. And then eating with the sun. And so Ayurveda teaches that you eat your largest meal at midday, so lunchtime, because this is when your digestion is the strongest, when the sun is highest in the sky, and then your digestion tapers off after that. And that's definitely been difficult for me to implement because, like many Americans, I see dinner as like the main event for the day and lunch is just like whatever. But I've been really trying to adapt to that Ayurvedic practice. And then finally, prioritizing wind down rituals before bed, especially skin rituals, because these are perfect to help you fall asleep before 10 p.m. So these are just a couple of things. I've implemented many things into my life, but let's keep it digestible for today. If this is interesting to you, then you would love Reclaim Your Radiance. I get into many more ways that you can support your skin and your circadian rhythm. It is coming back starting June 1st. You can add yourself to the waitlist to be the first to know when it's up again through the link in the show notes. I also would love for you to share this with somebody that you care about. If you think it will bring them some value, make sure you subscribe to and rate the show. And I will be back next week. Until then, be well. You've been listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality. If you like what you heard today, consider giving me a 5-star rating. It helps other people just like you to find the show. You can shop products and find all of my offerings on my website, stratumaesthetics.com, and follow me on my social channels @stratumaesthetics.